Hi, it's Alice Chance from Transition Partners. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my vlog today. Everyone's invited to my party. It's all about creating a digitally inclusive space within tech. Enjoy!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of my digital diversity vlog. My name is Alice Chance and I am an account manager from Transition Partners. Part of my role is also our diversity and inclusion advocate, and today I have with me Christian Mercer from Positive Plus One. He's going to tell us all about what he's been doing and the work he's been doing on Positive Plus One. So Christian, tell me a bit about yourself and your journey.
Okay, firstly,
where to start?
Firstly, thank you for having me on. It's massively appreciated, and it helps me reach more people. So Positive Plus One started for me around 5.5 years ago now. I was living in London. I was managing quite a large team, and I became friends with one of my team. And basically what happened is he started taking quite a bit of time from work, and rather than it going up the food chain, I reached out to him and said, look, what's going on? He then disclosed to me, because he trusted me, disclosed to me that he found out he was living with HIV. He said he was on medication. He said he was receiving, support from a local charity, but how he was struggling with disclosure. How does he tell somebody? The general rule within the HIV community is that it's best not to tell someone, as you can never untell someone. And that's, to hear that, it's shocking.
Okay, yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So as any friend, would do, I looked for ways in which I could help. I said to him, how can I help?
Yeah.
So, he was a 26-year-old man, still young, still looking for love, still looking for sort of, friendship, connection, that kind of thing. This pressure of disclosure and ultimately the fear of rejection was playing quite a big role in his life at this point. Mm-hmm. So I went online. I went to go see if there was anything that catered towards, people living with HIV connecting.
Yeah.
Then I didn't find anything online. Then I went to and contacted all of the sort of local charities. Like I said, I was living in London at the time. So you've got the likes of Terence Trust and National AIDS Trust. I reached out to them and just to find out if they had anything to cater for this. And ultimately what they said is that they've got support group sessions and meetings that they run, where people find one another through there. But, other than that, no, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if there's nothing available, then why not be the one to make it happen? Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much where my journey began.
Amazing. I was so ignorant to this, like it was something I'd never even thought of before, and sort of the struggles with dating or even sort of making that friendship, because I know there's such a grey area around HIV and AIDS, and there's still a lot of fear, and a lot of people, I think within just sort of, especially within like the non-gay community, there's a lot of fear within people of how it's passed on, who can get it still, and I think a lot of people live with that and struggle to sort of get past those boundaries.
It's miseducation.
It's 100%.
Education. A lot of people remember, the Tombstone adverts from the late 80s, when HIV was classed as a bit of a death sentence, and that
100%. Yeah.
Since then, there's been some pharmaceutical advancements, that landscape has entirely changed, but we haven't been reinformed. No. Unless you're part of, the LGBTQ community, which 100%. Which most people would assume that's where, the highest amount of, the highest prevalence of HIV exists. That's actually wrong. In the UK, around 54% of people living with HIV are heterosexual.
So really?
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's again a common misconception.
Yeah, because I think gay men were so tarnished with this HIV process, like say in the 80s, sort of early 90s, it was just seemed like it was only within that community of people, and the awareness is there for, like you say, the LGBTQ plus community, but it isn't there, and it is the miseducation of it. I remember when I was at school, and the lessons that you got taught in sort of your sex education lessons about HIV were awful. They were the scariest thing ever. I just thought, if this was something that you contracted, that's it. Like you said, it's a death sentence. But yeah,
and this is it. There are some, there's some great organisations really pushing policy, really pushing education, even prevention through education as well. Terrington's Trust, National AIDS Trust. We've got partnerships with these charities now, and we donate a portion of our profits back to these companies just to help them deliver these services because they are invaluable. So yeah, there needs to be a massive re-education. We need to be re-informed right from the school level. Like such a classes. It needs to go right back to that because the next generation is coming through. Stigma will die with it, with this older generation kind of thing. So.
Yeah, you're right. So on the app, what's sort of the growth been like from the start of you starting Positive Plus One to where it's at now, and what sort of people have you got that are using your platform?
So it's been a long journey for me.
Yeah.
I define as a heterosexual single man. When I came into this space, I knew nothing. I was an account manager, the best, a corporate salesperson. So I knew nothing. So I had to learn about the HIV community. I had to learn about the tech space and everything that comes with it. I initially started with a website, which was awful, but I had no knowledge of what was incoming, what was required from a tech point of view. Then I went and, after I'd done sort of like my what I'd call sort of my online research, my desk research.
Yeah.
Then I went and did more field research. So going out to the charities was the first point, but then going out to things like Pride festivals. I had a box of flyers printed off, and I went to Leeds Pride, and I absolutely, on the morning of, I'd not considered at any point how people might react to me passing the flyer that said, HIV positive dating. I didn't want people to assume that I just picked them out of the crowd and been like, you look like you're living with HIV.
Yeah.
So, that hit me on the morning. So I actually went out. First, what I did is I went and sort of did like a soft test. I went to the stalls and just sort of said, look, are you all happy for me to leave some of these on the table? And when I got some really good responses, thankfully, then I felt a bit comfortable, and I was handing them out. And I was doing this, Essex Pride. I went to York Pride with one friend, and so it was daunting. Daunting, but this was my mission, and I'd taken that role. So it's been a long road, but basically what we did is we realized that there was something there, and we launched a white label app, Reskin the white label app. And in the space of a couple of months, we hit 4,000 members globally. Oh, wow. And, the conversion wasn't massive, but in terms of the value that was being offered, for a paying member wasn't great. But that wasn't really what I was bothered about. It was more about, is there a real need for this community, or is it just what I've seen firsthand? But as soon as we launched it, it just went, bang. So a couple of months down the line, made the decision to close down the app, as it could have been, potentially looked as a little bit damning to the brand and what it really stood for. That was solely a dating platform. Yeah. And what we found sort of through, feedback and member attestation was that there was actually a greater need than just dating. There was actually a need for, social connection, just connection as a whole. Yeah. So, being able to find a romantic partner is great, but being able to find friendship and connection of any kind, a big thing that was sort of I push is that, people who join the platform were able to connect with like-minded people who share a similar story.
Yeah.
And there's power in that, you know, it's empowering, connected to people who've been there and who are living through it themselves and experience it. So, and, you know, that fear of that pressure of disclosure has been taken away.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck with me for so long, through one member sort of giving their feedback, and they said, look, you know I can go online and I can use other dating platforms. I know I can, you know, go on Facebook, but I know that, and I know that I can scroll through 10 pages of Google and find lots of, you know, relevant things, but there's no go-to hub. There's no go-to space for this. You know, if you wanted support, you go to a charity. If you wanted, you know, medication, you go to a gun clinic, or, you know, and it's something like that. So, and I thought, well, okay, what we've got here, this digital platform, it caters for, rather than one-to-one like the charities do, it caters one to many, but on a global scale. So it was like, right, let's put all of these things into one app. And, you know, once I had sort of a clear understanding, we'd done a sort of a pretty in-depth roadmap. I then went and met with some app development companies, and, you know, they were massively on board. The feedback throughout this entire process has been, it's been brilliant. And, you know, I took it to market to raise the money, and we raised 260,000 at a pretty good rate. Yeah, but, you know, we tick the boxes in a lot of areas. You know, we're giving back to a community that need help with connection, and need that empowerment. We're giving back to the charities that support this HIV community, and do a fantastic job of it. But, you know, they're always facing funding cuts and budget cuts, or fundraising problems. You know, COVID hitting last year. World AIDS Day for most, of course. You know, World AIDS Day for most charities has been is normally their main fundraising effort. And last year they just were not able to do any outdoor events. Fundraising down. So if we're able to input their event onto our app and drive more members and people to what they're offering online, be it a support service, then, you know, everybody wins, everyone wins, and that is really what it's about.
I can really tell there's like a sense of community. And I know when we were speaking about this, when we first had our chat, what I love about it is the fact that you've got people on there that could have been living with HIV for the past 30 years, and somebody that's just found out that they've got it a couple of weeks ago. And the fact that there's power in people's stories, like you said, the fact they can learn from people and they can sort of speak out and reach out to people. And then sometimes it's quite nice having a bit of anonymity, like not having to go into a meeting room and having to go to a support room, which can be really daunting, and creating like this digital hub seems so powerful.
This is it. Not everybody responds or works that well face to face. And whilst it's a great thing that the charities offer, it's very daunting. You know, to stand up in a room of maybe, you know, 10 people that you've never met and be like, I'm who, you know, whatever, and I'm living with HIV, blah blah blah. That is very difficult. To do it on a platform where you can almost hide behind a keyboard to some extent. That makes it, that baby step, just that little bit easier. You know, and obviously, you know, we're partnering with the charities, so we truly believe in what they do and what they deliver. You know, and we want longevity for them as well. So, you know, it's a case of just trying to cater for our community in so many ways. I think a really interesting and key point for anybody listening or watching this is that the app, whilst it's being built for the people living with HIV and the HIV community, the HIV community is broader than people just living with HIV. We have a lot of members on there, you know, people who signed up who aren't living with HIV. They might have had a past partner who's been living with HIV, and they understand. You know, if you're on medication, you suppress the virus so much so, and the big campaign is you can't pass it on. You know, if you suppress your viral load to a certain point, you could literally have unprotected sex with someone living with HIV, and not, which is massive. Then there's people whose family members, their mum might have had HIV, their brother or sister might have had HIV, and they're comfortable. So it's an inclusive place, but we're not just saying, oh, only people with HIV can date people with HIV or meet people with HIV. That's not what
it's
about.
everyone.
It's much broader than that. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, in doing so, we've built in so many safety measures, and we're continuing to build these in. Verification, through mobile, email. We've got things in the pipeline that are going to be even more protective. The idea is that you can be yourself, but at your own rate. Feel comfortable that everybody on the platform is not, is fully verified, and is there for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, it's actually amazing. And again, I'm still so ignorant to everything, sort of the HIV community, and I think a lot of people are, and it's just something that we all need to sort of learn a bit more about, and hopefully a lot of people will take away from this session in like our conversation. But it sounds like you're doing some great stuff. I'm going to check out Positive Plus One. It sounds like a really good app.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me today, Christian. It's been great to chat, find out a bit more about the HIV community and find out about your app. You're doing amazing work.
Thank you. I think finally, just for anyone sort of going to have a look at it, it's Positive Plus One, all spelt with letters, rather than being the plus and the one.
I will tag it all as well. So
Wonderful.
Got it. Cool. Thanks, Christian. Cheers. Thanks.
Anna.